Welcome to Goddess on the Rise. I'm your host, Sarah Brookberg, board certified life coach, board certified holistic health coach, and Ayurveda practitioner. Goddess on the Rise is all about empowering women, self love, wellness, reclaiming the body you are in, and creating a life where you can come out on top. So, buckle up, girlfriend. We are going for a ride. Happy Tuesday, and welcome back to another episode of Goddess on the Rise. I'm so excited to finally be back with you guys and being a little bit more consistent with recording. So I don't think I told you in the early episodes in January, but my goal is to release an episode twice a month. Now, as life starts to kind of get settled in, I feel like I'm going to get a routine. So I feel like I'll have specific days for you guys that I'll be dropping episodes. But as of right now, it's kind of random and it's kind of chaotic because that's my life. And I just can't dedicate a certain time to recording. And that's just how it goes. But I'm going to do a little catch up with y'all, and then we are going to hop into today's episode, which is going to be all about some beliefs and mindsets around food and a little bit of some lifestyle changes, maybe even some reframes for you. All right, but before we get into that, let's do a little bit of a catch up. You all know that I love sharing my life with you. You guys know I'm an open book. With that being said, I think I told you that we have puppies, and I feel like we're finally getting in a good routine and figuring out ways to get them tired and do training, and it's just been kind of chaotic, right? So when you have two freaking puppies, and then Katie and my brother-in-law, they work outside of the house. I work at home. So it's just me most of the day with them, and I'm not gonna lie, it gets to be a lot. Then you throw a kid in the mix halfway through the day, and my gosh, it's just pure chaos. So I've been trying to find ways, we were letting them outside and letting them run around outside, but then they would come inside all so muddy and they're doodles and they need brushed a lot, and I was just having to do so much with all that, and it was getting to me. I was feeling like I was losing my freaking mind with it all. So I started doing a lot of research. We're doing enrichment games, and it tires them out, and I'm loving it. And it's so good for their brain and their mental capacity. It helps with Behaviors. So I'm excited for that. I'm glad we got that down. I've also been doing a lot of training because me and Briar are about to go on I keep wanting to say cross-country trip. It's not a cross-country trip. I'm in North Dakota right now, and we are going to be going to Washington. If you don't know, that is where we are stationed. My husband's stationed there, I should say. But, obviously I live with him, so I always say we. People get so offended by that. They're like, oh, you serve too? No, fuck off. You know what I meant? I live with my husband. He's stationed there, so I'm with him. Don't make me say all that. That's so fucking weird. Anyways, off my high horse there. Or off my little rant, I should say there. We're about to drive out that way. And it's a 19-hour drive. And I would be lying if I said that I am not so freaking nervous. I'm so nervous. Briar is not doing the greatest in cars on car rides. She gets very nervous. I'm trying to like help desensitize her from it by a lot of people said crate in the car, and she loves her crate, but I have like I don't know. I just don't know if that's like the vibe for me, for us. She doesn't sleep in the crate anymore at night, and I haven't been crating her during the day. I'm probably gonna try this when I go back to Washington, crating her again. Um, but then again, I still don't know because like she sleeps with us in the bedroom. I shouldn't say us because there is no us right now, but she sleeps with me in the bedroom. She has a specific spot she likes to lay. And so she doesn't tear anything up at night. And like if that's her safe place, like I'm okay with it. I'm okay if it's not the kennel. Um so I'm just like I'm really torn on the whole crate thing. I know it's not like a punishment. I know it's not like a prison. I know it can make them feel safe. I know it can be good for them. I personally, this probably sounds so stupid. I don't like the way the crate looks. Um, yeah, that's not the only reason why though. But like right now, it's impossible to crate her because if I do crate her, it would only be at night. And then she wakes up halfway through the night in the crate and then wants to be like by me, which is fine, except she's finally sleeping through the night. So I'm like, I don't really want to ruin that for myself either. So a little bit of selfishness there. But also during the day, we have been leaving them out. They have been doing really, really good, other than a few accidents here and there. But the other thing with that is that Mila, our other puppy, Katie's puppy, she does not crate. Katie doesn't crate. And we tried crating, and Mila would just howl the whole time. And then that would wake up Briar in the other room. So then Briar would start crying. So it was just like a whole thing. It was like a whole thing. And it's really hard to do, like, if we're not on, not necessarily like the same page, but like, if she's not doing that with her dog, then I can't really do that with my dog. So it's like, it might be something that I explore when we get back to Washington because I think it would be really great and it would relieve a lot of my anxiety like when I leave, because if I leave for like right now I'm on very like strict time restrictions of like how long I can be gone for, right? Because there's two puppies, which means there's a lot of room for, things to happen. Like I left the other day, they got into something. And it's not that I care that they chew anything up. I care that it's going to make them sick, right? So, like, if I were to leave for more than 3 hours, I am destined to come back to like pee puddles and pray to God nothing has been chewed up. So, they haven't chewed up a lot of things, just like two things, which I think is pretty damn good. I think we do a good job of like wearing them out before we leave and stuff. It's just still, it gives me so much anxiety. Whereas if I were to leave Briar in a crate, I feel like I would feel so much better because I know she is safe in the crate. If she has an accident in the crate, I'm fine with that. I can clean it up. I feel bad because she had an accident, right? But like, at least I know she's not chewing anything up. That's what really scares me. I always have like fears of her like chewing up an electronic cord, and then like what if it starts to fire and she dies? Or what if she like chews a cord and then she gets really sick? Or what if she chews something and gets really sick and then she has to have surgery? And like I don't have it in my heart space to like obviously put her through that, but also go through that myself. Right? Like I just lost a dog and ugh, why did I do that to myself? Laughing so I don't cry, but anyways, I can't go through that again because that like, yeah. Anyways, let's change the subject so you guys kind of get it there. It's been chaos. I'm nervous about driving 19 hours with her because the car situation is just, it's stressful. It's very stressful. So yesterday we took a car ride with my sister so I could hold Briar the whole time. She did so much better. She wasn't whining as much. She was a little bit more chill. She was still shaking really bad. So, there's that, but I don't know. We're gonna go on a car ride tomorrow. Yeah, I think tomorrow we're gonna go on another car ride. I might try tonight. So I'm gonna pick up Ben. I might go to TJ Maxx because there's like this big bed I want to get her because she's kind of outgrown everything, and it's so cute. It's like pink and fluffy. I love it, and I'm gonna go get that for her. I'm gonna put it in the car seat that I have for her, and then put like a shirt of mine in there and see if that helps. I also think there's some adjustment that needs to happen with the car seat, and maybe that'll make her a little bit more comfortable because like right now it's just not like, it doesn't look like it's fitting right. So I also am stressed out because um I'm like, how am I going to go to the bathroom? Like, I cannot leave her in the car. First of all, I'm driving a rental. Second of all, like, she's going to freak out. I'm not trying to give her more anxiety. So I'm thinking that I'm going to use like a pet carrier or a backpack to put her in. A backpack, like a pet backpack. I've been looking on Amazon, found some really good ones. If you're listening and you're like, oh, I have the perfect solution for you, please DM me. And I'm also obviously going to talk to the vet about any suggestions that she might have for her. We are going to stay overnight in a hotel. I'm not worried about that as much. I'll have her pet bowls with us. Yeah, so like that's like the biggest thing. And then we'll have a little bit of time to get her acquainted to like my house and life without her sister. Ugh, that's gonna kill me. That's so sad. Why am I a sad girl today? Like, this is not the vibe, guys. I need to cut it out, but I mean, it's just life, whatever. Um, but yeah, life without her sister and without like kind of people around. It's just gonna be me and her for a little bit before Chris gets back, and I'm just hoping to get her acquainted, hoping to do a lot more training with her, hoping that we kind of get in a routine loosely, because once Chris comes home, kind of all of that goes out the window. Like, we'll have to get in another routine, which is okay. We're not worried about it. We're flexible over here. That's deployment life. That's military life. So, and then other than that, let's see. Health issues. Yeah. So I can't remember if I did an episode. I know I only did 2 last month. And I can't remember exactly what the first one was about. I'll have to go back and listen, but I think I talked a little bit about health. And if I didn't tell you or if you didn't see, I ended up having a small surgery at the end of January, maybe like halfway through January actually, and it was called a hysteroscopy and a DNC. And what they did is they went in through my cervix and they took biopsies of my uterine lining. They also scraped out some weird tissue that was in there. They don't know what that was, which is, I don't know if that's really reassuring actually now that I think about it. But and if you're new here, if you're like, why did you have this done? I've been experiencing abnormal uterine bleeding, AUB is what they call it. And I've had it for about 3 years, pretty much nonstop bleeding. And it has been one of the worst things ever. And if you're like, why is it that big of a deal? Because I bled so heavy. Like, I started to notice that like activities would be difficult for me to do. I did not realize how much this affected my quality of life. Like, I wasn't working out because I literally would like bleed out of my clothes. And if this is TMI for you, then I implore you to explore that, because this is a very, very, very normal body function. Not normal as in like I've been bleeding that long, but bleeding in general is a very normal body function for all or most women to go through. And so, yeah, let's like destigmatize that. I don't know why this ever became such a like TMI thing. It's a normal body function. And I think it's important that we talk about this shit because it's just so important. It should not be a taboo subject at all. I could go on about that for like days, but I won't. Um, so basically, I notice now that I'm not bleeding because of the DNC. And I'm assuming maybe because of the polyps she removed and the scraping of some of the tissue. She said she just did a light, like gentle scrape, so like it shouldn't make more scar tissue, but she doesn't know. When they took a biopsy of my lining, it did come back as adenomyosis. I am in my feels today, you guys. Shit. Okay, I'm gonna pause real quick. Okay. This is like, I don't know why this is so emotional for me. Well, I know why it's so emotional for me. And I don't want to get into all of that today, but I do want to say the hysteroscopy went well. It's exciting to get like a new diagnosis. It's exciting and also like a little upsetting at the same time. Um, if my care would have been handled properly 3 years ago, I would have probably been in a much different situation right now. But that's not the case. So all I can do now is heal from that. And that looks a lot like forgiveness and grace and gentleness towards myself and my body, and just allowing the emotions to be there, to be present, to move through them, and work through that, because that is fucking traumatizing. Um, and now the verdict kind of is there's not much they can do. Adenomyosis is a pretty inflammatory um, disease, and it's where like the uterine like muscle and lining grows into the the uterine lining like grows into like the muscle of the uterus. So that can cause heavy bleeding, clotting, inflammation in your pelvis, which obviously is so frustrating, so frustrating. And then on top of that, you know, I already have endometriosis, which is a really inflammatory disease as well. And it is actually in the top 20 most painful diseases to have, along with, I also have PCOS. So it's a lot. It is a lot. So because of all that, my chances of getting pregnant are very, very, very low. And it looks like if I start bleeding again, which pray to God that's not the case. I pray to God I have a nice break for a little bit and that my period just comes back normal and everything's okay. But if not, what I am looking at treatment-wise would be a hysterectomy. And that is a tough, tough pill to swallow at the age of 30, having no kids and just 3 miscarriages. Like that is a lot. That is a lot. So, yeah, lots of healing, lots and lots of love to myself and to what it is like I've had to freaking go through, you know, to be where I'm at today. This is a really long like update. But I promise we'll get into the good stuff here soon. But with all that being said, I just have a lot to like think about and move through before I decide what it is that I'm gonna do. So that actually is like the perfect gateway into what we're gonna talk about next. If you don't know, I've been working with a actually an endometria excuse me, mistalking here. Endometriosis registered dietitian, so she like specializes in endometriosis. And one of the big things with endometriosis is that it can actually affect your whole body. One of those things being your digestive system. And if you don't know, I've talked about this so many times. I have this crazy bloating. No one's been able to figure out exactly what it is. And guess what? She figured it out. And I am so grateful for her. Now, I can order all the same labs as her. I can read all the same labs as her. So why did I hire her, right? Like, why, if I could do all these things myself, why did I hire her out? And let me tell you what, this is the best money that I have spent on anything or anyone. And it's because she keeps me accountable. Not only accountable, but she reads all my labs for me. She orders all my labs for me. She tells me what to do. And that way, I don't have to do it myself. And you may be thinking, like, why is it a big deal for you to do it yourself? Well, let me tell you what. When you are someone who runs their own business, who struggles with people pleasing, you have a tendency to put yourself on the back burner. And I'm not saying this to be cute or for you to feel sorry for me or anything like that. It's just the truth. And because of that, I knew that if I did this myself, I would not put in near as much effort and stay consistent and show up for myself like I do when I hire someone. That level of accountability and support is unmatched. Like, just knowing that I have someone to be like, hey, I'm experiencing this symptom. Instead of me thinking about it myself, because if I think about it myself, I'm not going to take it that seriously. And I hate saying that out loud. I hate even admitting that. It's something that I am still working through. I can help all my clients through it all the time. I do these things for my clients all the time. But when it comes to myself, I struggle. And I even help my clients through that part too. And a while ago, I thought to myself, like, maybe that's just my freaking purpose in life. Maybe my purpose is to help everybody else. And that's that. And it might be, right? I can accept that. But at the same time, it's almost like, do I think I'm not worthy of that? And that's not the truth. So, just some things to think about there if you're thinking the same thing. I just want you to know you're not alone in that. But moving on with her, we found out a couple things. One, a level in one of my labs. This is a gut marker, a gut test, a GI test. It's a stool test, actually. And if you're like, wow, I'm actually really interested in this and I want to have it done, let me know. I can actually do GI labs, GI stool testing specifically. And I can also read it, interpret it, give you an action plan for it. And that's actually what my girls inside of Plus and Peace are going to be doing here soon. And so I'm excited for all of that. But one of my markers in particular, this is the membrane. This bacteria was super, super low. And actually science shows that this type of bacteria is only found in the gut lining. Okay, so that membrane of the gut, which is very interesting. So basically what is happening is that bacteria there that is supposed to be at a decent level is very low, meaning that I want you to think of the gut membrane as a wet paper towel. That's how thin it is, okay? And if that bacteria is low, basically you have a whole bunch of holes in it, okay? This is what is known as leaky gut. Okay, so I do have a form of leaky gut. And what is happening is that anything that I am consuming is going right through those holes, right? A lot of it is anyways. And when that happens, it goes into the bloodstream. And maybe you remember this from science class, but have you ever heard of the term, the solution to pollution is dilution, right? I want you to think about this like if you get something in your eyes, what are you told to do? Rinse it out with water, saline. Same thing with a wound. Like if you have an open cut, what do? You rinse it out, right? Because you want to pollute it, or you want to get all of that pollution out of it, any like dirt, debris. So you wash it out, and the more you wash it out, the more you get out, right? So the solution to pollution is dilution. And that is exactly what my body is doing. It sees all this stuff in my bloodstream and it's like, what the hell is this? This does not belong here. Alert, alert, alert. What's going on? We have pollution. So what does it do? It dilutes the pollution by rushing it with a whole bunch of like water, right? And this is where we get the inflammation. And this is something that you can actually quite see in me. If you go to my Facebook or even my Instagram, you can look. I shared a picture of a side by side of my face. And this is a direct result of inflammation. So I am someone that if I get inflamed, like you can see it, right? And contrary to popular belief, it is not because I'm fat. It is not because I'm eating something wrong. It's simply because my gut membrane is like, it's in a state of needing help. Like it's just so taxed out right now. So right now I am on a very specific protocol. It is basically bowel rest. I have a very small list of foods that I can eat from, and let me go back. There's a couple other markers that showed up that were very, very interesting. Hold on, coffee break. Drink your coffee or drink your water right now. You probably should drink your water. Don't listen to me. I'm drinking my coffee though because it has my medicine in it, but also it's not even real coffee. It's mushroom coffee. Okay, it's so good. Okay. All right, we're back. So a couple other markers that were in my GI test, my GI map is what it's called, was my zonulin level. It was ridiculously high. In fact, I don't mean to brag, but it was the highest zonulin level that she has ever seen. So, like, don't mind me being an overachiever. Like, check me out. I'm such an overachiever. Like, I'm just a badass. I'm totally kidding. Obviously, that is not a good thing. That zonulin marker is like a marker of inflammation. So my gut was so inflamed, and part of that was because of another marker. The other marker is specifically related to gluten intolerance, and it was very, 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 very high, meaning that I do not tolerate gluten at all. Now, I do not tolerate gluten could be because of the inflammation, the gut membrane, and all that, or it could be because I truly just don't tolerate it. We will find out in a few months once I'm done with all these protocols and on a nourishing gut plan, and we'll see how it goes, you know. Maybe after all that, we can think about reintroducing and try it out and see what happens. But I will say I was gluten-free for about 2 weeks. I enjoyed a little bit of gluten one day in the form of sushi. So like I had like two sushi rolls, and one of them had tempura in it, it has gluten in it. And I also had like tempura vegetables and some soy sauce. Soy sauce also has wheat in it. That is such a small freaking amount. And let me tell you what, I was like deathly ill. I thought I was going to die. I literally have never felt so much pain in my stomach before. And I was sweating and it was just not a good time. So like as of right now, I am 100% gluten free. I'm going to stay that way for a long time because I don't ever want to feel like that again. Also, the bowel rest. Again, very specific foods that I can eat right now. And because of that, if I kind of go off the plan, like the plan has made me feel so much better. My stomach feels so much better for the most part. But there's a couple times I've gone off the plan just a little bit. Not even that crazy. Nothing too crazy. And I felt really crappy for days. So I'm pretty much trying to be very strict on that as well, because it's not fun feeling that way. And it's really crazy that it affects me so much. So I am pretty strict on bowel rest right now. And the bowel rest is probably different than anything you're thinking of. I know for me, when I think of bowel rest, I'm thinking of like all liquids and like just very little things, very bland. And that's definitely not the case. I'm eating mostly um, vegetables, uh, sweet potatoes, butternut squash, carrots, broccoli, Brussels sprouts, green beans, micro sprouts, and then a protein. So I've had some chicken sausage, eggs, chicken, beef, and then for like sauces, I've made this like carrot ginger dressing, and it is amazing because number one, like I'm a saucy girl. I love condiments. Like I love like a good dip. I love like marinades and stuff like that to like add flavor to my food. And so like being without that, the only thing that was allowed on bowel rest was like mustard and Tabasco sauce. And I'm not like I I don't hate mustard, but I'm not like give me that mustard, pass that mustard. That's like not my vibe. So I found this recipe and it included everything on my plan. So it's like carrots and ginger and celery and rice vinegar, coconut aminos, and then avocado oil. And that's what I used for mine. Salt and pepper to taste. And then I think the original had like coconut sugar and onion. And right now I'm not really doing any onion. That's definitely not on the bowel rest thing. Like onion's not on there until like a few categories away. Like the bowel rest is in categories, so I'm pretty much strictly in category 1 right now, which I'm telling you what, the list of food that I can have is probably like 30 things. I'm not even kidding you. And that's about it. For carbs, I mostly rely on carbs from my vegetables, and I do have some like rice, brown rice, and quinoa. And again, that is about it. That's kind of pushing it. So that's where I'm at for like bowel rest. I've tried to get very creative with my meals. So like one night I did a salmon bites bowl and that actually turned out so good. Like I'm probably gonna do it. I think maybe I'll do it tonight actually. Salmon is such a really great thing to have. I found it on sale at Target, which really helped because it's so expensive, but it's like one of those things that you should really be splurging on like once or twice a week because it is high in omega 3s and we absolutely need omega 3s. They are very important in our diet. And then on top of that, it helps with inflammation, which is obviously something I need a lot of help with right now. So I wanted to talk a little bit. Now you know kind of like what's going on in my world with all of that. And then of course, like I was dealing with all the bleeding stuff on top of it. So it's just been a lot. Oh, actually, I forgot to tell you. So I'm doing this bowel rest to reduce inflammation in my gut because after that, we have to go into a protocol, which I'll probably be starting in the next couple days once I get my supplements. And the protocol is for SIBO, small intestinal bacteria overgrowth. I ended up doing testing for that because I had a lot of the symptoms, and sure enough, I tested positive. And that is a bitch to get rid of. It is a 40-day protocol of antimicrobials, and it's definitely intense. I'm starting it now. I should probably do bowel rest for a couple more weeks, but I want to be done with it by the time my husband comes home. Just so that way it's like one less thing on my plate because it is again a pretty like in-depth protocol. It is a lot. First off, 40 days long, and then it's several supplements a day. And I'm not gonna lie and say I'm not nervous about it. Like that is just it's not my vibe. So again, this is why I hired someone so that way I had support. And that was the best fucking investment of my life. I am not even kidding you right now. Like, I would do that again and again and again. Um, find you a practitioner, aka me, who is empathetic, who listens to you, who validates you, who hears you, who's also intelligent in like what they are like prescribing and recommending. And that has been huge. Um, a big, and this is where people I think mess up, and this is something I want to talk to you about today too, is that people will go in, they think that they have bloating, and they just start throwing shit at it. Like, okay, I'm going to take this supplement. And I guarantee you, 9 times out of 10, what you don't need is a supplement. What you do need is lifestyle management along with correcting whatever is triggering in your diet or even just addressing your diet. And that brings me into my biggest point for this episode is that for me, the foundation of all of this is not the supplements. It is the lifestyle and the food I am eating. And here's the thing, I don't want to get this twisted. I am not on a like diet to lose weight. When I say the word diet, I am talking about the food I eat. That is a diet. I am not talking about diet culture. And if you have been here for any amount of time, I hope you remember and you recognize I am anti-diet culture. I am anti-diets like Noom, I think it is, Weight Watchers, Beachbody, Atkins diet, keto, all of that, throw that shit out. You do not need a diet, okay? What you do need is to understand the effects of certain foods on your body. What you do need is to understand your body, how it works, and how to develop a relationship with your body. Fucking mic drop. Damn. Hold on. I need to put that down. I need to write that down. Okay, I literally did pause just to write that down because that was such a good thing. I love it when my mind actually minds. And then I say something stupid like that. I love it. I love it here. I'm not even kidding. I really can't even remember where I was going with that because I freaking paused. But I just want you to go back and listen to that. And I think it's really, really important. So again, when we're talking about nutrition, right? So like I said, what you actually need is to understand how your body works, develop that relationship with your body. And let me tell you what, if you have an eating disorder, if you've been a chronic dieter and done a lot of like yo-yo dieting, I need you to know this. This is going to take time. This is not something that is going to happen overnight as much as you want it to. This is not something that's going to happen in a month, in a year. This is a relationship that we should have been building from the freaking start. But society, our families, unknowingly, I'm sure our families unknowingly have failed us, right? Because from a very young age, I want you to think about this. From a very young age, we were taught to hate our bodies, to change our bodies, okay? And that type of work, when you do that type of work, it doesn't just change overnight, babe. Like, it takes time. It takes a lot of patience. It takes a lot of grace. It takes a lot of confidence and self-love, and you consistently showing up for the body that you neglected for years. And I know that that is a tough pill to swallow when you think about that. I know this, especially because we continue to live in society, right? So like we constantly have to continue to learn how to drown out the voices that are telling us you are not enough until you get lip injections. You are not enough until you do Ozempic and you lose a whole bunch of weight, which, hold on, which I have to tell you, there is some studies that have been done on Ozempic, which if you don't know, I'm a huge like anti-weight loss injections. And it's not just because I'm against weight loss. I'm not against weight loss. I am against intentional weight loss because of what it does to your body, but I'm not against weight loss. I understand the desire. And a couple things, I want to break this down with you real quick. This is not going to be an episode on weight loss, but I need to tell you this. Hold on, dogs have to go out. Pause. I'm not against weight loss, okay? But here is the problem that we run into. It's that when you set goals and you're like, I need to lose weight, and I ask you why. What always happens is someone says, it's because I need more endurance. I want to be I want more strength. I want to be stronger. And those are the goals. Weight loss does not get you there. Okay, weight loss might be a byproduct of that. But if you want more endurance, right, you need to train a certain way. If you want more strength, you need to do strength training. That doesn't mean you need to lose weight. Weight loss does not equal endurance or strength training, period. It just doesn't. That's not how that works. And then going back to the Ozempic, there's actually been studies shown that people who take Ozempic and lose weight, they're actually not any healthier. In fact, a lot of these people have resorted to drinking their calories, or they don't even work out anymore. Working out, moving your body is such an important thing when it comes to inflammation, when it comes to lymphatic drainage, when it comes to just the basic health of your body. The other way that Ozempic works is that it decreases the appetite. And let me tell you what, in almost 100% of the clients that I see, appetite is not the problem. It's actually the food that they eat. And what I notice is that they're under eating. Most of my clients have an issue of under eating. Most of my plus size women that I help, their issue is under eating, not overeating or eating the wrong things, right? That make their body feel like shit. So one thing that I have been doing a lot of, and again, you guys know that I am anti-diet, but I'm not anti-knowing what I'm putting into my body, right? So one of the things that when it came to like this journey that I'm going on, like with the bowel rest and really healing my gut and figuring out what is going on because I have a lot of gut symptoms, and maybe you're here too, it's been noticing like what the breakdown of food is that I'm putting in my body, right? Did you guys hear all that? I literally had to pause for the dogs. That's what I'm talking about. They took a 43-minute nap. That's it. 43 freaking minutes. That's all. That's all they take. I literally just had to like take their bowl of breakfast that they did not finish and do enrichment toys with it. I sprinkled it all over the house for them to like sniff around and find. And then I twisted up a blanket and stuffed it with all their toys and a bed on top of it. So hopefully they will be busy for a bit. That is dog mom life right now, puppy life. Oh my God, to the fullest. Anyways, what I notice in my clients again is that they are under eating or eating a lot of like the wrong food. So protein alone is one of those things that is so satiating, but also one of the food items that almost all of my patients are under eating with, like hands down, maybe getting a third of what they need of protein a day. And so that alone is a big problem, right? Because we need protein for so many reasons. One big reason is for healing, right? For healing just regular things that go on in our body. And that is so underutilized. The next one is fiber. Fiber helps keep our bowels moving. Fiber has protein in it and carbs in it as well. And just really getting like a very good, diverse plant diet, or plants in your diet is what I should say. And it's one thing that almost all of my clients are missing. And then the other thing is carbs. And I'm talking about, I don't want to demonize carbs here. There's no such thing as good or bad carbs. It's what carbs are doing for your body, right? So take in take a sweet potato versus McDonald's French fries, right? The breakdown of those are going to look very, very, very different. We know that a sweet potato has way more nutrients than, let's say, McDonald's French fries. And so that is one of the things that I always look at with my clients as well. And 9 times out of 10, almost every single one of the clients are under eating. And I'm not talking by like a little bit. I'm talking by like usually anywhere between 1,000 to 1,500 calories under eating. Meaning that most of my clients are probably eating a little bit around the 1,000 calorie mark. And if not, they're making up for the calories in drinks like, and let me tell you what, again, we are not demonizing food here, but maybe like 2 or 3 lattes a day, and that is several hundred calories. Again, there is room for all of this in the food you eat. I'm not saying you cannot have these things, but what I'm saying is like, if you're not getting enough calories from the diet and you're making up for it in liquids, like there has to be a little bit of a change in that. And here's the thing that with my clients, I always recommend, again, not a diet, but the add-in method, right? So, okay, you're going to drink 3, and this is an extreme like example. I don't think anybody does this. And if so, that's okay. I'm not judging you. I've been there before too. I've drinking 3 lattes a day before. I'm not going to freaking lie to you. Definitely in college, I did that a couple times for sure. But what I like to focus on is the add-in method, okay? So if you are eating, again, another example, just a random example, I'm not demonizing this at all. Say you are eating McDonald's 3 times a day. I don't know about you, but if you look at a McDonald's menu, there's not a very big, diverse menu there, or even a lot of vegetables there. So what I like to do is, okay, you're going to eat 3 times a day at McDonald's. I want one of those meals where you add in a vegetable from home, okay? Or add in, maybe do like a double protein. Add in where you can, right? So like say I have a client who is making a protein shake in the morning, and it's one of those ones you grab and go. So there's probably not a lot of plant diversity in a protein shake. So maybe you can blend it up real quick with some spinach and peanut butter, just getting a little bit more protein in there. Or maybe you can take an apple to go with it, right? So again, just making sure that we are adding in things, okay? I'm not about taking away, all about adding in, okay? Because adding in feels a lot more doable. And then it doesn't make you feel like, number one, you're missing out on anything. And number two, it helps you realize that you're not restricting, okay? And restriction is where you tend to fall off. Restriction is what happens when you restrict. Usually you binge, especially if you have an eating disorder. So we always focus on adding in. And plus that makes it so much easier. It's so much more doable. It's a great reframe to be thinking. So if you're like, I want to start, living a little bit healthier, think of where you can add in things, right? So again, not I have to force myself to go to the gym. I'm adding this into my routine for stress management. So just a couple things there. I think that's kind of everything that I really wanted to talk about today. I know we went for a whirlwind, but I feel like I was talking on my stories yesterday, in case you missed it. And it's one of those things where like when you have been in the plus size space for so long, like me, I've been in plus size coaching now for a few years, it gets really like, a dangerous line to walk, right? Because I have built a platform on anti-diet culture. And I still firmly believe in that. I still firmly believe that weight loss usually isn't the answer. What the answer is developing a relationship with your body, right? And if weight loss comes from that, that's okay. Okay, that is totally fine. And again, when my clients come to me, they're like, hey, I want to lose weight. And I say, okay, why? Because I want to feel better. Okay, what part of weight loss would equate feeling better? Well, because then I'll have more endurance, I'll have more strength, I'll feel better in my clothes. And I'm like, okay, so what you actually want is more endurance, strength, and to feel confident. Those three things do not equate weight loss. In fact, you see stories about it all the time, right? Women who have weight loss surgery. Again, I am not demonizing these things. I understand that these are tools, they've been around. I am personally not for them. That's just me. But you see these people lose these massive amounts of weight and the self love still is not there. The confidence is still not there. And it's because it never was from the weight. That's what society has led us to believe. But it's not from the freaking weight. It's because self love comes from within, not the way we look. Confidence is a feeling, it's an emotion, right? Those things can be accessed at any time once we build, again, that relationship with our body full of trust and love and understanding and validation and letting our body be seen and heard and validated. That's how you get those things. They don't come from a magic number on the scale. It's just not how it works. And honestly, sometimes I wish it did. Maybe it'd be easier. But what really needs to happen is you getting honest with yourself, right? Take a big swallow of that, honesty and sit with yourself. Sitting with yourself in the uncomfortable moments, the uncomfortable parts, seeing yourself in the uncomfortable parts. Working with a self-love coach, right? Hiring someone like me to help you with your health and your self-love journey. And the reason why I feel like self-love is so overplayed because it's so much deeper than that. I want you to know, like, deep inner self-love. You loving the parts that no one else claps for. You loving the parts of like the most inner, deepest, darkest corners that no one has saw. That's the type of love that I am talking about. That is the type of self-love that I am talking about. I'm not talking about that surface level of, oh, I love my body. I mean, if you have that, that's great. But I'm talking about the parts of you that is so dark, that is so deep, that not even your sister or your best friend or your husband know about. Just you. That's what I'm talking about. And the reason why I think it's important to start to address these things and talk about food is because, as you know, I'm an Ayurveda practitioner. I'm a board certified holistic life coach and holistic health coach. And with that, the food you intake is such a big part of what I share and what I talk about, or actually not what I share. I haven't shared a lot of it because I've been so nervous to do so, being in like the anti-diet culture space and building my platform on plus size women. I'm not trying to tell you guys that there is such thing as good or bad food, but what I am trying to tell you is start looking at the food you are eating. Start noticing how you're feeling. And if you're feeling pretty shitty, then there's some things that need to change there, right? Probably a lot of inflammation needs to change. Probably a lot of messing around with the intake of your protein. Start noticing, are you eating plants? Have you ate enough fiber for the day? Like, these things are really important as they help reduce inflammation in the body. If you're having a lot of aches and pains and fatigue, notice where that is coming from. Are you skipping breakfast every day? Are you going like hours on end without eating? Are you drinking water? And I know these things sound so freaking simple, but you would be surprised at how much these things make a freaking difference. I promise you that. If there is one piece of advice that I could leave you, if you're not going to like hire someone, if you're not going to go through coaching, or if it's still something you are unsure about yourself, that piece of advice would be to start doing an internal check. I want you to start noticing, what is your body trying to tell you today? Just sit with her for just a few moments. Maybe just notice she's even there with you. Taking a few deep breaths in with your body. Maybe just feeling your heartbeat in your chest. Maybe giving her a big hug. Maybe placing your hands on a space that she feels like she needs a little extra love from you. And maybe this feels foreign at first and you're unsure of it. And I want you to know that's okay. You're not alone. I'm here with you. And your body is here with you as well. All right. Thank you for listening today. I really, really, really hope that this podcast episode was good for you. It kind of gave you some insight. And what I would love is I would love to hear from you. Send me a message on Instagram. Send me a message on Facebook. Leave me a comment if you're watching this on YouTube. I'm still trying to figure out how to get the video, but it is on YouTube. So there's just no video of me. It's just like a picture, which is fine. But wherever you're listening, let me know that you are here. Let me know that you listened all the way through this episode. I hope you enjoyed all the chaos that ensued with it. And I can't wait to see you next time. Our next episode is going to be an episode with my mom. And in case you don't know, she has... Ooh, here we go. She has the big C, the big cancer. So we are going to be talking all things cancer, how she's been doing with it, what next steps are looking like, and just kind of going from there. So I love you. I mean it. I'm proud of you. And thank you for being here today. YouareTheBomb.com.